my brother is a priest, and a couple of his friends are now priests, and almost all of his friends now are just total studs, stand-up doctors or whatever they're doing with a lot of grace and with their families, right? So from high school, I've been able to follow these examples, and that was the example that I tried to follow.
So he's there in Kansas.
Yeah, he's in Kansas. Yeah.
And he's serving at what parish is he?
He's at St. Paul's at Wichita State University. So he's the pastor at a university student center there. Yeah.
When did he enter the seminary? How old were you at that point?
I was in college. I was, let's see. No, I was in high school. I must have been a senior in high school because he went to 2 years of college and then went into seminary. So I would have been graduating high school when he started up in seminary.
Do you remember that announcement that he?
Yeah. Well, what I remember is we had some friends over. He had some friends over and I was hanging out with them, right? So I think I was still at the age where I'm not quite friends with the brother's friends. Maybe I was. I don't quite remember, but I was definitely pseudo invited. But I was hanging out.
You're starting to squeeze your way in there.
Right. And I remember my brother pulls me aside and he's like, "Hey, come on, I got to talk to you." And he takes me back to my bedroom and he tells me he's going to seminary. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, "Oh, wow, that's crazy. I didn't even know you were considering it." That's cool though. I mean, awesome.
Did it surprise you? Like you're trying me, or I figured.
No, I never figured. I never once thought that he would consider being a priest. And I also thought that he only pulled me aside that night because all his friends already knew and he didn't want me to find out from his buddies. So it's like, I mean, come on, you got to come to the brother at some point. But no, I never saw that. But it was a college discernment for him, I think. I mean, my seeds were probably there in high school, but it was in college where he encountered Focus Ministries, and I think he got more into his faith. But, I never considered it. I'm not sure if it was ever talked about much in our household growing up, that was even an option, which I'd like to. It's one of those things that you're just collecting notes your whole life.
Yes.
Do you have kids, Rudy?
Yes. Yeah. 2 kids.
Yeah. So I'm having my first in any day now. She's full term. My wife Emily is full term today.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So I could get a call right now.
Right now.
But I have it on silent, so she'll have to wait. But yeah, you're just taking notes, I think, as you grow up and you're like, I want to do this when I have a family. I want to have this. So I want to be able to instill this. And one of the things is I want to normalize the priesthood and have a bunch of priests over for dinner, our friends, and make it known to my sons. Hopefully I have, I'd love a large family, and I'd love my sons to know that they feel free to discern that, right? Like I want that to be fostered.
Normal.
This is totally normal. It's like, it's a supernatural calling, but it normalized the discernment process, right? So I don't want it to be shocking to anybody or any of my kids that one of them is, considering the priesthood.
You said that you have other siblings. How many more siblings do you have?
Got a younger sister.
Younger sister. Yeah, okay,
Sarah.
so the 2 boys.
Yeah.
How did your parents react to your brother deciding to enter seminary and possibly becoming a priest?
I think...
Did it shock them?
At times, it's a long process. So I think they had some chance to say, maybe he won't. And then 6 years later, they figured it out. They're like, it was going to be all right. And I love that the seminary process is so long, just because it should be. It should take some time to I don't know,
to discern,
make
and to
that known in your family. It's
get people used to that idea.
Yeah, it's a different family life when one of the kids is a priest, especially when you only got 3. And one of them is not supplying any nieces and nephews. So all I want is a huge family and have these giant family, reunions throughout the rest of my life. And I've got a brother who's not going to bring any nieces and nephews to the family reunion. So it's me and my sister. We got to step up, I guess, and get 12 kids per family. So we have those crazy cousin pictures.
You got to make up for that, right?
We got to. Yeah, someone's going to fill in the balance.
Pick up the slack.
Yeah.
Right? Now would it have been more difficult for your family if, he was the only son, do you think?
Oh, yeah. I would imagine so. I don't know. I'd have to think for a second about any only child priest. Do you know any priests who are only
off
children?
The top of my head, I can't think.
Yeah, I think that would be difficult.
some of our past guests said that it was difficult for their classmates or for the families since it was the only child.
Yeah, it's a weird thing, the priesthood. I mean, they're still around. They're not losing your child to like, and it's different than even like being a cloistered monk or nun or something. Like you really might not see your child again except for once a year or something. But as a priest, especially if they're in the same diocese as you grew up, you're going to see them all the time. But there is still a separation between the two because you're not living the same lifestyle.